Alright, let's dive into something that might seem small on the surface but could actually have some pretty big implications for families, businesses, and even the tourism industry in New Jersey. Here's the deal. Governor Mikie Sherrill just signed legislation that could unify spring break dates across all New Jersey schools. Sounds straightforward, right? But personally, I think this is one of those decisions that's way more interesting than it initially appears. First off, let's talk about why this is even happening. Right now, every school district in New Jersey sets its own calendar, which means spring break dates are all over the place. From my perspective, this fragmentation creates a lot of logistical headaches. Families with kids in different districts might have mismatched breaks, making it tough to plan vacations or even just coordinate childcare. What makes this really interesting is that it's not just about convenience, it's about equity. Families in wealthier districts might have more flexibility to navigate these discrepancies, but for lower-income families, it can be a real struggle. So, unifying spring break dates could level the playing field in ways people might not immediately consider. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This change could have a ripple effect on the state's economy. If you take a step back and think about it, a unified spring break could boost tourism. Imagine hotels, resorts, and local businesses knowing exactly when to expect a surge in visitors. It's like giving them a predictable peak season to prepare for. What many people don't realize is that tourism is a massive driver of local economies, and this kind of consistency could make a huge difference for small businesses. Personally, I think this is one of those rare instances where a small policy change could have disproportionately positive outcomes. Now, let's talk about the potential downsides. One thing that immediately stands out is the loss of flexibility for school districts. Some districts might prefer earlier breaks to avoid conflicts with standardized testing, while others might want later breaks to align with community events. By standardizing dates, we're essentially removing that autonomy. In my opinion, this raises a deeper question: how much control should state governments have over local school decisions? It's a delicate balance between efficiency and local needs, and I'm curious to see how districts will adapt if this becomes mandatory. Another detail I find fascinating is the potential impact on travel costs. Right now, families often have to book flights or accommodations during peak travel times because their kids' breaks don't align with off-season rates. A unified spring break could reduce demand during those peak weeks, potentially driving down prices for everyone. What this really suggests is that this policy could have far-reaching effects beyond just the school calendar. It could reshape how families plan and budget for vacations. Finally, let's zoom out and think about the bigger picture. This move feels like part of a broader trend toward standardization in education. We're seeing more states centralize decisions that were once left to local districts, from curriculum standards to testing schedules. From my perspective, this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, standardization can create efficiency and equity. On the other, it risks stripping away the unique needs and identities of individual communities. What this really suggests is that we're at a crossroads in education policy, and decisions like this one are just the tip of the iceberg. So, here's my closing thought: what seems like a simple change to the school calendar could actually be a microcosm of much larger debates about autonomy, equity, and efficiency. Personally, I think this is worth paying attention to, not just for New Jersey residents but for anyone interested in how small policy shifts can have big societal impacts. What do you think? Is this a step in the right direction, or are we losing something valuable by standardizing spring break? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to hear your take.